Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Janelle, and this is my home in Dallas. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, I'm Janelle Patton, and I am the principal designer and owner of Lark Interiors. So I live in Coppell, which is a suburb of Dallas. We love our community. It's small, it's close-knit, we have great schools, but the homes were all mid-90s tract homes. So we gutted this house and we really love it. We moved to Dallas from New York City about 12 years ago. We moved to Coppell immediately. We bought another home in the area, and I actually had a friend call me and say, "You have to come see this house." I came, it was totally original on the inside, and I was like, I don't know. I actually kind of loved that it was original because I didn't have to pay for other people's updates, and I could make that exactly what I wanted it to be. Welcome to our front room. So formal front rooms are kind of out of style. One thing you can do to make sure people use your front room is put a TV in it. TVs draw people, but no one likes a big black box. I love the Samsung frame TV, and a fun way to display art and to hide your TV is to do a gallery wall around it. So these pieces are collected everywhere, from artists I follow on Instagram to Home Goods to Round Top, which is a big Texas vintage market I go to every year. This is a vintage piece I bought from a friend that I use to hold all of our TV equipment. We've got swivel chairs, which are my favorite thing in a TV room because you can swivel to face the TV and kids love them. A nice big coffee table to ground everything, and always a nice big area rug. A common mistake people make are rugs that are too small. You want all the front legs, at least, of your furniture to be on your area rug. When you are styling a coffee table, you want to work in groups. And one thing I always use are big coffee table books. The great thing about coffee table books is they vary the height of things. So when you're styling, like a credenza or a coffee table, it added some height and grounded these really cool, I call them my banana candlesticks, that I found at Round Top. They're vintage and a lot of fun. Fresh flowers, these hydrangeas, are always a great idea. Trader Joe's is a great resource, or your yard. We've got over here a nice big sofa. My entire family of 5 can fit on this if we want to, which is always nice. Whenever I'm doing decorative pillows, this is such a great way to add color and pattern to a room, but I always like to make sure and do nice down feather inserts so that they're also great to lay your head on while you're watching TV or rest your arm against. This is a solution dyed acrylic fabric, which means it is bleach cleanable and totally family friendly. Again, I cannot recommend performance fabric highly enough for people with kids, or even just people, because we all spill. I always like to put an end table next to a sofa, someplace to rest a drink, to put a plant. Live plants are so important in a home. And then a great table lamp. So a common mistake I see is relying just on overhead lighting. You really want layers of lighting in your home so that you can have softness. It's not all on, all off. And a table lamp does that really well. Window treatments are often forgotten thing as well. These are just super simple drapes with a French pleat on them. We totally use these functionally. They open and close every night. My husband never wants anyone to see what we're watching on TV for some reason. Another thing that I do for my clients and in my own home is, this is a blanket basket. So who doesn't love a blanket when watching TV? And here's my dirty little secret. So I put the pretty one on top, but underneath are like all the cozy, fuzzy cheetah print stuff that my kids love to curl up with when watching TV. And then that just pretends that it's not there. Next, we'll move on to the dining room. Okay, so this is our dining room. Again, dining rooms are kind of one of those things that are going out in a new home design. I actually really love having both a dining table and a breakfast table, because what this table turns into most of the time is the Lego building table, the puzzle doing table, the homework doing table. You can leave stuff out on it and still have a table to eat at. Another tip I have, a designer fun tip, this is something we do at Lark all the time, is we'll take a great pattern fabric and put them on the back of a chair. Oftentimes these really cool patterns are not performance. Obviously, my kids are gonna wipe their hands on this. Even my 18-year-old son, it will happen. And so this has to be performance. So I know white dining chairs is totally horrifying, but this is actually a brand of performance fabric called Inside Out. That's the brand name of it. And it's super cool because not only is it stain resistant, so if I poured a Diet Coke, which is my drink of choice, on this right now, it would just bead up, but it is also bleach cleanable, and it's bleach cleanable in any color. So my nephews were visiting, they wiped spaghetti sauce all over it, and it came right out. This table is really fun. This is actually, I designed this and had it custom made by a local craftsman who's super talented. I really loved this kind of ripple detail on it. It's made of walnut. It was the exact scale and size I needed for this room, and it's held up really well for our family. I love in a formal dining room to do different head chairs. So this again is a performance fabric. I'm not putting anything in my home that's not gonna be cleanable. Not only is it performance, but I'm balancing out all the legginess of these chairs with the skirted bottom on this chair. This also pulls in the colors really nicely from the adjoining front room of the blues, the golds, the beiges. I always love a beautiful flower arrangement on the table. You can't always have fresh flowers. Some things that I've done for clients in the past are a dried floral arrangement, and those can last years and be really beautiful. Focal point of this room is this great chandelier. I cannot tell you how mad my handyman was when he had to hang this thing, because that center marble stone is solid. So heavy, but totally worth it. And then on the walls, we've got these really fun botanicals. I got these at Round Top. They're true dried florals. I think botanicals are always great go-to art. They're simple, they can go almost anywhere, and they're classic. Next, we're gonna head to my husband's office. Before we head into the office, I just wanted to show you this. So this is right off the entry, this big, huge, ugly air return. And it had one of those horrible Home Depot, always dusty looking grills on it. And I found a company called Pacific Register that makes these really beautiful air return grills. You can put them on your vent covers, you can put them everywhere. And it instantly elevated the space and was not very expensive. Like, we are doing this in almost all the homes that we design now. It makes such a difference. Okay, so coming into this office, this is my husband Chris's sanctuary. He is a lawyer by day, musician by night. He loves music. And so we really set his office up to be a space that's not only a workspace, but a listening space. So we turned, this was just a normal, double door sort of closet, and we turned it into his record space. So he's got his turntable, all this great record storage. He is very particular about what records go up here. Before you guys came, he wanted to ensure that his best records were here, so you can judge him by his taste. But this then plays into speakers in the ceiling in here. And it's really funny because my kids will often yell down, "Dad, turn down your music." And we're like, isn't it supposed to be the other way around? Another sort of unique feature is this gallery wall. So again, he's a bit of a collector, loves music, will often pick up concert posters, We'll have really cool inserts from records that he wants to frame, and we just continue to add to this wall. And I think by the time we're done, it will totally fill the space. Something I want to point out about the layout of this room, I don't think a lot of people would have thought to put a couch in front of a desk like this, but it has really been great because he can nap here if he wants to. He can sit here with this little end table and work on his laptop and be comfortable or listen to music. We also added this little desk area for our kids if they wanted to do homework in here. We had a desktop computer here for a while that they could use. So it's a really multi-function room in a really small space. Lastly, I want to talk to you guys about the drapes. So one thing that's really fun to do in a more masculine space is to use like a menswear pattern, like this window pane plaid on the drapery. And it keeps the drapes still feeling masculine with the softness and femininity of drapery that really like soften the rectangular shapes of windows. And actually, one more thing I'll point out is this paint color, because I get asked about it all the time. It's Benjamin Moore Intrigue, and it is like the perfect green, blue, gray. I can't recommend it highly enough. My style is colorful. It's collected. I love vintage pieces. I love art. I love a modern touch, usually in lighting. So I think technically I would be transitional, but we call it Lark style. We love details like trim and unique pieces and just fun, unexpected elements. Like in our studio, we painted the inside of our cabinets pink. We love a fun surprise like that. Okay, so as we walk to my family room, I just wanted to point this out. This is an 8-foot vintage bench. These are so hard to find, but they come in handy so often. I've actually had them made for clients before. I found this at Round Top. I know I keep talking about Round Top. If you haven't been, you should go. But I actually got this in my car. I was almost chewing on the leg, like as I was driving the way home, but it was totally worth it. There's nothing I love more than art. I really love art. Maybe my kids, maybe not. This piece, I followed this artist for a really long time. Her name is Karen Smith. And the scale of this was so fun, and the color of it is just so my home. And I love when you walk into a home, so we're kind of in my entryway. When you walk into a home, you should know exactly what to expect from the moment you walk in. So this sets the color palette for my entire home. Okay, so now we're gonna head into my family room. So this is the space where my family spends the most time. We actually don't have a TV in here, despite really loving TV, as I've told you guys. I didn't think we needed one because you're always gonna be in the space off the kitchen. It's just where everyone tends to land and to hang out, right? So a couple of things I wanted to point out in here. One of the things I mentioned about our style at Lark is we love a detail. This is a great example of it. So we took this sofa, covered it in green performance velvet, and added this trim detail. And this just instantly levels it up, right? And makes it a little more special, a little more unique. It wasn't an expensive ad, but made all the difference. Another thing that we often do in design is use these. We call these like ottomans or stools. Anything this size, scale is wonderful, multifunctional furniture. Like I once wrote a blog post called Ode to an Ottoman because these are so great. You can move them around and put your feet up on them. You can use them as extra seating. So this like really completes this conversation area we have going on here. They're also so fun to add style. Like you can put a crazy print on them. Like we put this fun mustard yellow trim. They're just an easy way to add style and function to a room. Next, I want to show you guys these amazing vintage chairs that I know I got again from Round Top. I fell in love with these instantly. A repeated detail I have in my home is the scallop. So I'll show you a couple other places this occurs, but it's one of my favorite shapes. And as soon as I saw these, I knew that they needed to go in this room. I had a cushion made for them in this purple, again, performance fabric. Again, like I can't emphasize enough, like my home looks pulled together, but everything is completely touchable. You can puke on it. The things that happen in life, right? So despite, like, I feel like people will often say, oh, I would love to have a beautiful home. I'll wait till my kids get older. You don't have to wait. Like the technology is here. We can create beautiful spaces that are family friendly. This piece of art is really special. So both my husband and I are major readers. I mentioned I have my master's in creative writing. I love literature. This is made out of vintage book covers. It's an artist out of Connecticut, which is where I'm from. And if you even get close up on it, there's little places where people wrote their names and the dates on the inside covers that she included. So these are all from vintage books. I also love a 3D wall sculpture as art. It helps break up all the flat things in a room. Another detail I wanted to point out is this shape on my fireplace. So this is another shape that I repeated throughout my home. Again, any repeated detail helps make a home feel cohesive. So on either side of the fireplace, we've got these great built-ins. This gives us both a chance to display things like we've collected, things that we find beautiful, but very functionally. Now don't judge me, we are big time board game players. And so this is where we keep all our board games. Clearly I did not clean them up for you, but the other side looks the same. We have so many board games and that's where we store them. I also wanted to show you this. So we've got this really fun, do you see how big this lamp is? I love big lamp. It's from a local ceramic artist who does these really cool marble designs. He does bowls, he does trays. I just fell instantly in love with this lamp. And then again, my love for art. This was a Christmas present from my husband. It's by A.K. Hardiman, and she does these very abstract florals. And the colors of it were just so perfect for this room. My favorite room in my home is my kitchen. I love it. It is where the family gathers, obviously, like in most people's homes. I have the most beautiful blue French range that actually my husband's gift to me one Christmas was to never, ever, ever mention again how much it cost. I adore this range. I love the light that comes into our kitchen in the mornings. There's a banquette that my family loves to gather around. It can seat a ton of people. I come from a really large family and we gather a lot, so that was critical to me. It's just a fun place to be. So right off our family room is our kitchen, which as I mentioned is my very favorite space in the home. This was a total reconfiguration gut when we renovated. So this actually used to be the fridge, a walk-in pantry, and I knew I wanted a bigger kitchen. Like the whole kitchen was just squished back into this corner. And I also knew I really wanted a comfortable place to sit and have dinner as a family. That's actually something we do on most nights. Obviously kids are at activities and we don't always have everyone, but we really like to sit around a table and have a meal. And so a great space saving measure is a banquette, because you don't need any space to back the chairs up. Not to mention the space saving aspects, but everyone in my family prefers to sit on this. We've got totally wipeable vinyl on the seats and it's super comfy. This is another example of the scallop design in our home. I had this table custom made to fit this spot. The shape is what we like to call a racetrack. So not oval, not rectangular, but racetrack. And we added this scallop to the apron of the table. Again, all of this is super durable. We sit on it, we use it, and it really functions well. Like my daughter had her entire drill team over the other day, and there were probably 14 girls around this table. Up here is a really beautiful piece of art that we framed in using custom-made sconces. Again, I love the mixed media piece. It pulls the colors. I love this fabric. There's a designer named Claire DeQuinton, and her floral fabrics are so much fun. And I just thought it was such a fun punch of color in an otherwise fairly neutral space. Okay, so now let me show you my masterpiece. One thing that I want to point out about this kitchen is that we split the fridge and the freezer. So the fridge is on this side, the freezer's over here. I have never once thought, I wish they were next to each other. It gives you a lot more flexibility in design to be able to separate those two appliances. We didn't have space for a really wide island, but we had space for a really long island. So we made it really long and then added this tabletop to the end where people can sit, have a conversation because you're not sitting next to each other, you're sitting around it, and use the bar. Over here, another tip I have for hiding appliances is this is maybe my favorite feature in the kitchen. Don't judge what you see in here, but we have this great pull-out with my KitchenAid, and we actually have 2 toasters on here because 2 members of our family have celiac, so we got to keep those separate. And then down here is like all my kids' snacks. And this just works. Clearly I need to go to the grocery store, but this works really well for us. On the floor, I got a vintage runner from a dealer in New York that I love to work with, Alico. He lets you take it out on approval so you can try it in your space. I know I mentioned my range. This is my baby. This is from a company called LaConch. So a while back in Texas, we had this horrible thing happen where it was like 10 degrees for a week and we all lost power and it was horrible and miserable and we didn't have warm food for a week. And I was so grateful to renovate this kitchen and put this in because this is the most low-tech thing ever. There is not a computer chip or anything in here. It requires electricity, and I know next time we'll be able to cook. The sink is in the center of the island. This makes it really easy to take, a pot of boiling water and drain it. I'm always thinking about that when I design. And then I love this ledge. So we took the stone up about 12 inches and added a ledge. It's about, 3 inches deep, just the thickness of the stone, and it's so functional. So this is my salt and pepper. And then here's my oil for cooking. And so when I'm here cooking, it's all within really easy grasp. And then it's also fun over here because I'm able to style it. And again, you guys know I love art, bring in really fun art into my kitchen. Another thing that I love in a kitchen is sconces. So again, layering your lighting is so important. Like I can leave these on at night. So as kids come home late, I've already gotten to bed. There's a little light on in the kitchen for them. And then most importantly, you'll notice that there's no vent hood above my range. Natural light is maybe the number one thing I think about when designing a new construction or renovation home. I knew I wanted a ton of natural light in my kitchen. I didn't want to block windows with a vent hood, and so we have an in-ceiling vent hood up here. It works great. If anything ever gets really smoky, I just open this window. And then we did this rift cut white oak surround with brass trim on it. This is actually that same shape on my fireplace, and that hides that vented from view. So let's talk about this light fixture. Lighting again in a kitchen is so important. We have cans, of course, but you need layers of lighting. This is a pendant from, it's a company called Urban Electric out of South Carolina. They're amazing. They have a million finishes, and they actually custom colored these to match my range. So that's a really fun detail. I love to add color and lighting. It's super unexpected and a lot of fun. Next, let's head to my laundry room. One thing I want to point out as we head back to my powder bath is that this is also our pool bath. So here's our back door here. Kids all the time are coming in sopping wet to use the bathroom. So I didn't carry the wood floors back here. I actually did tile. This is a super fun tile from a company called Coppell. They do all different colors, all different patterns. The tile guys were probably gonna kill me because I wanted it to be very random in the layout, but intentionally random. I spent a lot of time with them laying it out. But that means what kids, no problem. So coming into my powder bath, we don't need a lot of storage in a powder bath. So I love, this is what's called a console sink. That's a sink that's on these brass legs. It has just a little bit of a ledge for some soap, maybe some fresh flowers. And then my favorite thing in my powder bath is definitely this amazing wallpaper by the British designer Imogen Heath. Just a beautiful floral design. Another sort of unique thing in here is instead of doing sconces, there wasn't really room with the window. I did a pendant above the sink to add extra light. And then we do have a window, looks right out on the pool, maybe not ideal for a bathroom. And so we have this great shade in a matching fabric to the wallpaper. Okay, welcome to my laundry room / mudroom. So one advantage of living in your home before you renovate it, and we lived here about 4 years before renovating, is realizing where your like sticky points are. The laundry room was a big one for us. We had no storage. It was about 18 inches narrower than this. There was hooks on the walls for stuff, but no cabinetry. We actually stole 18 inches from the garage in order to get both the cubbies on this side and the washer dryer and all this cabinetry on this side. This has changed my life as a mother. It's been so wonderful. So let me kind of walk you through some things. Each person, including myself and my husband, has a cubby. I found these really fun brass nameplates on Etsy. So no kid can tell me I don't know where my stuff goes. It goes right here. And another really fun thing that I did that I think has been really useful is these are sock drawers. So your socks and your shoes are in the same place. You don't have to run upstairs to grab socks last minute. That was always another thing that was slowing us down. And then I've just got their shoes and baskets under here. Obviously, on a typical day, this is full of backpacks, jackets, my son's climbing bag, my daughter's ballet shoes, and then we've got these great clothes storage cabinets up here that I can put off-season jackets and things like that in. On this side, this is my dog's kennel. So does she need this fancy of a kennel? Absolutely not. But I love not having that big crate in my way all the time. So it's totally tucked away. This door just slides open and closed right here. And we even had some extra wallpaper, so we carried the wallpaper in there. These cabinets store like pool towels, things like that. Something I wanted to point out on them is they have that same shape that I have on my fireplace, that I have on the surround around my range. Again, repeating details makes your home feel cohesive. And then in the laundry section of this room, we've got washer, dryer, hanging rod, and then my other favorite thing, laundry basket storage. So you have a place to just pull it down, grab the laundry, put it back until you're ready to put it away. And then of course, we have the really fun monkey wallpaper, because why not? It's a laundry room, have some fun. You're gonna be annoyed you have to be in here. Make it as pleasant as possible. So my biggest design tip is don't skimp on upholstery. That's your couch. Mike Birbiglia has a great comment about how your couch is your best friend. It really is. You want it to be comfortable. You want it to last. So you want to buy something that has a hardwood frame, that has really good fill, which is like a spring down cushion wrapped in, a spring foam cushion wrapped in down, and something that has, I believe in performance fabric all the way. We have 3 kids and a dog, so good quality performance fabric on it. Okay, should we head upstairs? Okay, welcome to our playroom, which is really more of a teenage hangout room. Now I have 18-year-old, 14-year-old, and 12-year-old. So we recently turned this space, got rid of the Barbie dream house, and got a really big TV. Samsung frame TVs, guys, they're the best. You can switch the frames on them. This is just like a magnet, so it can be any color that you want and any art that you want. So half the people that come into my home don't even know it's a TV. We put vinyl grass cloth on the walls. Vinyl means fake, it's plastic grass cloth, but it still has the same great look, the same texture and feel. But that means when my kids are laying on the floor, we're watching TV, and they're putting their feet on the walls, I don't have to worry about it. Again, use the ottomans. Again, as flexible furniture, as a place to put your feet up. My dog actually loves to lay under them, and a fun place to use a pop of bright yellow trim. I love a big, fluffy, comfy sectional in a playroom, in a family room. It's just a cozy place to snuggle up, and who doesn't love putting their feet up when they watch TV? This, again, is performance fabric. I did a fun, like blue-green color, and then I added this really fun trim detail around the base. Again, this is the stuff that most people don't think to do, but can just really elevate your designs, is to add just a little more detail to them. And then I pulled from these colors in the pillows that I put on them. So not only does my husband play guitar and bass and mandolin, but he's a big piano player, so we had to have a piano. I found this amazing piece of art by Hope Olson. I loved, it's like a 1920s big band. I thought it was so appropriate for over a piano. And it always helps to have an art light to just emphasize a piece of art. They can even be plug-in, like this one, if you don't have it hardwired in your home. This is actually on a plug. On either side, this is actually where my fireplace comes up from downstairs. So there were these niches on either side. A great opportunity for built-ins. This is just tons of storage. It has our art supplies, linens, all of that fun stuff. And then on this side, I don't know if any of you have teenage boys, but what they like to spend their free time doing is gaming. And so we have a built-in gaming desk for my son. And yes, we do hear him screaming at 2 a.m. sometimes to his friends. And even better, again, this is the wisdom that comes from living in your home before you renovate. This is his own personal pull-out trash can, because I was so sick of picking up candy wrappers, empty Coke cans. It's all right here. He has no excuse not to put it in. And of course, in any room where you're going to be watching movies and TV, you need some blackout shades. So even though these are pretty, they have lovely texture to them, they do have a blackout liner on them, and they're really easy to lower and lift. Just have a little pull cord on the back. Okay, next I'm going to take you to my son's bathroom. Okay, welcome to my son's bathroom. These were mid-90s horrors, like seashell sinks, the old really bad brass, pull faucets. You know what I'm talking about. My brother visited and was like, why does the water come out of your faucet like the power of 1,000 suns? So we were very happy to renovate this space. I don't like to take kids' spaces too seriously. Like, when in life do you get to have fun? Just have some fun with it. So we went with a really fun pattern tile. This is like a kind of faux terrazzo, which was having a moment. I didn't want to go all in on that. Plus, porcelain, ceramic, great for kids' spaces. Fully cleanable, really easy to work with. I almost always just do white quartz on a kid's vanity. It's super durable, it's super cheap, and it's so neutral. Like, it's completely inoffensive, a great material for a kid's bathroom. We did some really fun sconces. I love just like a super simple one handle faucet, especially for boys. Tons of storage in this vanity, and then some fun artwork just to have a laugh. And then my favorite detail is, I'm sure you've seen this, but penny tile is an incredibly inexpensive material and can be so versatile. So we had a little bit of fun in here and quoted The Office on a shower wall. Okay, so next up, we're gonna head back to my daughter's rooms. So this is my youngest daughter's room, and she actually wants to redesign it, which makes me really sad because I love it. But this was maybe the first room I did in the entire house. So we went with a really bold pink wallpaper on the ceiling. Don't ever forget about your fifth wall. The ceiling is a great place to do a fun trim detail, a wallpaper, plaster. It really can add a lot of character to a home. And especially when you have weird ceiling clips and angles on a ceiling like I do. Again, it's a mid-90s tract home, so we have got some funky stuff. It's a great way to lean into that rather than against it. What little kid wouldn't want a chair swing in their room? This, you can see the wall behind it is totally banged up. I don't even care. Everyone has so much fun with this. It fully supports the weight of an adult. I have come up here while she's at school and read in this chair. It's a really comfortable chair. And all the kids that come over love it. We've got bunk beds because we actually don't have a guest room. So my other daughter gets kicked out of her room when guests come. And so we've had these bunk beds so that she has a place to go when guests come. And then this is getting pretty banged up and probably ready to be replaced. But this was a vintage dresser that I had lacquered, and it actually has proved to have great storage and be really wonderful over the years. And then, like I said, Lark loves the detail. And so we took these really like plain linen drapes and added this really fun palm detail to them. Again, this is not an expensive ad, but it instantly elevates, adds more character, makes it more personal. Lastly, a thing I really recommend in a kid's room is a pin board. These come in so handy. All that artwork that comes home from school, Polaroids, ribbons and medals they win. Here's a place for it all to go so it doesn't collect on your kitchen counters where no one wants to have it. So a pin board is a great feature in a kid's room. Next up, we're gonna head to my teenage daughter's room right next door. So this is my 14-year-old daughter's room. The very, very, very first thing I picked for this room was the chandelier. My handyman thought I was insane. It's huge, especially given that this is quite a small bedroom, but it's so high impact. This is from a company called Stray Dog. They make all these amazing paper mache light fixtures. So fun for a kid's room, and you can custom color any of them. Again, color on lighting is so unexpected and so unusual and so fun. It's a great place to really play. So we needed, again, a bed that could be a guest bed, so I put a queen bed in here. We leaned into the ceiling height by doing a headboard that's quite tall. This is custom made from one of my favorite upholstery companies, and we covered it in, surprise, performance fabric. This is a cravat fabric designed by Kelly Wersler, and it's solution dyed acrylic. Again, totally bleach cleanable. It's not going to pick up any of those like head oils that you get from like hairspray and all the things teenage girls use. Another favorite tip I have, especially in a small bedroom, is using a desk as one of your nightstands. So over here on the left side of her bed, we have got a desk. And this has evolved over the years to now she uses it as her makeup vanity. So she has this fun lighted mirror that I got from Pottery Barn Kids that she can use to put our makeup on. So remember how I said I love a scallop? Well, here again is another scallop. We just added a scallop detail to the leading edge of these drapes. We emphasized it with the yellow piping, and this fabric is the same as the headboard. And I'm so jealous of her because she has the most amazing crepe myrtle out her window. And in June, when they first bloom, it is like the most beautiful view of hot pink out her window. Another thing that is really fun in a kid's room is fun art. Like, you've got to lean into fun art. These are from a local Dallas company. They ship everywhere, called Scout Design Studio. They have the most fun stuff. This is made out of crayons. And then we've got like a peace sign out of butterflies. They really, really have fun art and are a great resource. And then I'll take you into maybe the space I'm most jealous of, which is her bathroom. Welcome to my daughter's bathroom. It's maybe my favorite bathroom in the home. We have yet to do ours, so we'll get there. Again, I used white quartz on the countertops. This is such a cheap material. In fact, a lot of fabricators will sell it by the linear foot, so you don't even have to buy an entire slab. But here's the fun thing. We added this scallop detail along the edge. This was a $150 upgrade, and I would say like 1,000% style upgrade. It really elevated this space for not much money. Flat front cabinetry is the most cost-effective cabinetry you can do. That means there's no like shaker profile on it. We went with this really fun lilac color from Farrow and Ball. And then I refused to blow the budget on tile in kids' bathrooms. And so I took this Bedrosian's tile and just did a really fun, it's just a basic subway tile, and I took 2 colors of it and just laid it in a really fun pattern. That is a great way to get bang for your budget, is to take inexpensive tile and lay it out in a fun way. And then lastly, where I did splurge a little is on this custom shower curtain. I had my drapery person make these and the matching Roman shade for her window. It's one of my favorite fabric designers. This is the same designer that did the wallpaper in my powder bathroom. And it really brings a lot of life and color to the space. Next up, we're gonna head to my studio. I kind of fell into design when I moved to Dallas. I actually have a master's in creative writing from Johns Hopkins, of all things. So I've always been a creative person. But when you live in New York City and you're working on your apartment, you're really thinking, what do I need and what will fit here? So it was less creative, right? Like I was like, okay, we need storage. We have this space. How are we gonna maximize this space? And then we moved to Dallas and we bought our very first home together. I really enjoyed the process of putting a home together. And I just really fell into design and fell in love with design. And I've been doing it ever since. Welcome to the Lark Studio. As you can see, it's right off my playroom, which my kids love. But it does have a separate entrance for clients and employees, which is wonderful. We all work in a really big co-working space, and I love that because design is very creative. We're always asking each other's opinions on things. We've got this great long table for presentations. We totally fill it with samples. And then this is another frame TV. I should probably get paid for how much I love them and promote them. But it's phenomenal for presentations. We throw our PowerPoints up there. These are inexpensive dining chairs that, again, we added that scallop detail on when we recovered the seats. And then we have so much storage in here. One thing about design is it involves a lot of stuff. So let me show you. These cabinets back here hold all of our samples. So we've got just tubs full of fabric, usually coded by color or our favorite, performance. As I mentioned, we painted the inside of the cabinets pink. This was a little detail just for us. They have to be painted something, right? Why not something fun? And then over here, we had these specialty pull-out shelves built to hold tile samples. So they're really narrow, they're really durable, they can hold up to like 200 pounds, and sometimes they have to. So we use these all the time. We also like to include a lot of our favorite vendors, both throughout my home and in the studio, so that our clients can sit on, feel the kind of things that we put in their homes. Our desk chairs are a great example of this. This is from one of our favorite upholstery vendors. And again, this is an elevated detail. We did a pink leather on the seat of the chairs, and then this pink and orange and white boucle on the rest. And we actually custom designed these desks to sit a little higher to allow for the arms of the chairs. Over here, we have my favorite swivel chair of all time. We keep joking it needs to be called the Lark at this point. We use it all the time, and that's why we put it in the studio. We wanted our clients to be able to sit on it. And we probably will never, ever, ever get a client to go this bold in fabric. So we went for it here and really love the color and fun of them. Lastly, we have a little kitchenette on this side with, very importantly, a drink fridge full of Diet Coke, which is a problem, and a Pebble ice machine. This is everyone's favorite thing. Kate, who lives in the area and works with us, sometimes stop by, even on her days off, to fill her cup with ice. So we love our Pebble ice machine. It has been wonderful having this space. It functions so well for us, and it's been wonderful as a working mom because my kids have access to me at any time. So I can be with the family without being with the family, if you know what I mean. Next up, I'm gonna show you our studio bathroom. Welcome to our bathroom. I did make it a full bathroom because why not, especially when we have guests staying with us. This is one of my favorite things in my house. This is called Pink Flamingo Marble. I saw this when I was sourcing for a client and was like, I have to have this. Clearly I have a thing for pink. It's a really beautiful pink and black marble. Since we don't need a lot of storage in here, this is just for clients and employees. We took a good chunk of the cabinetry and did this really fun countertop detail, and then did this fun backsplash on it that emphasizes the wall mount faucet. I always love sconces on either side of a mirror if you can fit them, and we also, people often forget to hang art in a bathroom. It's so fun, and it's such a missed opportunity for art. In the shower, I again used that penny tile trick. Penny tile is so inexpensive, and did a black border around the shower floor. And then when designing the architecture for this space, which our lead designer, Allie, who is an architect, did, we thought it would be really fun to include a round window. Again, just like a fun little detail from the street, it adds a little presence to the home and brings some natural light into the bathroom. Home to me is the place where I can put my feet up, snuggle with my family, and watch Survivor. Watching TV together as a family is like something I really enjoy. It's the place where we can gather, the place where we can be ourselves and be really comfortable. So even though my home is really pulled together, it's very livable. Like, the kids cartwheel through it. My daughter sometimes rollerblades through here. She does gymnastics. My son's always with friends, playing video games. Like, we've made it function really well so that we can live in our home, which I think is really important.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.